Here's your Storm Track 7 forecast.
Good afternoon, Eastern Iowa. I'm Storm Track 7 meteorologist Danny Cassie. For the next couple of days, it's going to be gorgeous. Well, plenty of sunshine, warmer conditions, and winds will thankfully be very light. Only about 5 miles per hour over the next 21 hours, we'll call it. And then for the afternoon tomorrow, we'll get up to possibly 15 miles per hour, but again, it's going to be very light and very comfortable as we head through the next couple of days. Highs for the most part in the low to mid 60s, 59 there in Decorah. Plenty of sunshine, maybe a few thin clouds moving in from the south. Otherwise, that light easterly wind. Then for tonight, low temperatures are going to be in the mid-30s, a little bit cooler the farther east you go as warmer air moves in from the southwest. Again, that wind stays light out of the east around 5 miles per hour. Then during the day tomorrow, high temperatures mid to upper 60s north and east, low to mid-70s south and west. Near record highs for many areas, especially the farther south and west you go. I think we'll fall just short of that, though. And temperatures, as I mentioned, upper 60s and low 70s. But the big story, of course, is on Friday. We've heard it and we've been talking about it ever since really last Saturday that we'd had the chance of strong to severe storms. The time frame for this is going to be the late afternoon hours, roughly about 4 to 5 p.m. through about midnight. And we do have an idea, at least now, of what exactly is lining up now that we're only a couple of days out. So in terms of the ingredients, we talk about this kind of if you think of an acronym or kind of mnemonic device, think of SLIM. You need 4 things for severe weather. So it's in a different order of this, but what I mean by SLIM is shear, lift, instability, and moisture. But the big thing here is lift. We're going to have a dry line. It's similar to a cold front. Basically, it separates moist air from dry air, and that's going to be moving in from the west and is going to initiate and provide the lift for those storms. We'll have plenty of lift. Instability, we're not going to have a ton, but for this time of year, we're going to have enough energy, especially with temperatures into the 70s and plenty of sunshine before the storms, that we'll have enough energy, I think, to work with. Moisture is going to be the big question here. Is for this time of year, again, you'd like to have more towards the upper 50s, and I think for the most part we'll be in the mid 50s, but this is something we'll watch, is if it trends higher for that moisture, then the severe threat might increase. And then shear. We talk about wind shear. Basically, it keeps storms intensity at bay. So basically, the more wind shear you have, at least with speed and direction, then the higher chance you have of storms lasting even into the nighttime. So we'll have plenty of that. So due to the moisture not necessarily being the best, at least locally here, the worst of the severe weather right now is going to be really along the Mississippi River Valley just to our south in areas like St. Louis and Memphis. But locally here, we do have a level 2 risk out of 5 for severe weather. The primary threat being damaging wind gusts, but also could have some large hail, and can't rule out a tornado or two, especially as the line develops into that kind of wind threat. You kind of will see a little bow shape. You kind of see that and you think, okay, damaging winds. You could always have some spin-up tornadoes along that front. So I don't think we're going to see any massive tornadoes, but tornadoes still could be a possibility. So at the time, again, 5 p.m. to about midnight, we're going to be watching those storms develop. And the level 3 risk you can see just on the southern edge of Washington County. So this does include the city of Washington. But with winds being fairly strong, possibly exceeding 75 miles per hour at times, especially south of Highway 20 right now, we could see this risk later today or in the coming days move a little bit farther north. So that's something we'll have to be watching. We'll also see how far this slight risk stays, or I should say level 2 risk stays off to the east. This could get trimmed back a little bit, because I do think by the time it reaches the Mississippi, it might run out of gas a little bit. But what we have going for us is a lot of moisture just above the surface. It's called the low-level jet. You've probably heard one of us talk about it. Basically, it's like a phone charger. And so your phone's dead at the end of the night. You're about to go to bed and it's at 5%, but that phone charger, even after the sun goes down, that phone charger is going to plug in and help us keep at bay. And instead of maybe just a 6-foot long charger as you're going away from your bed, it's about 30 feet. But eventually it is going to die off. You're going to have to unplug that phone. It's going to have to die. So that's going to be something we're going to be watching as we go through this whole system. All right, analogies aside, you're like, all right, Dan, you get to the point. So we're going to fast forward Friday morning at 7 a.m. We might have a little bit of fog, but we'll have plenty of sunshine, especially during the early afternoon hours. It's going to help stir up the atmosphere a little bit. Then here comes 5 o'clock. So we've been seeing kind of a little bit of disagreement of how fast these storms are going to develop, but I think 5 o'clock, it might be fast enough to where it gets here. It's just we're going to have to watch to see how early these storms initiate, because they're going to be moving fast. They'll be moving to the northeast about 40 to 50 miles per hour. So flash flooding shouldn't be a concern with how fast they're moving, but with those fast moving storms, and the winds will definitely be a primary threat. So there's 5 o'clock. Now you see 8 o'clock, and when I talk about the bow and arrow shape, it basically looks like a bow. I mean, look at this, and we're right in the middle of it. This is usually where the worst of it is. So you see right here, kind of over the Black Hawk County area, this is where you could see, some spin-up tornadoes, any little kinks in the line, that's where you could see those spin-up tornadoes. So that'll continue through the overnight hours. Here's 10 o'clock. Again, you're seeing that little bow shape there. That'll continue 10 o'clock, and then by midnight, if not a little bit earlier, that moves out. Still could see some showers, maybe a couple of rumbles of thunder after that, but I think midnight is kind of the end of it. Then extending into Saturday. So again, the severe threat is over. Still could see some showers, maybe a few rumbles of thunder, especially early. That low will continue to track off to the northeast that initiated these storms, so very powerful low at that. Could see some showers into the afternoon hours. Maybe could see a little bit of light flake Saturday night, but I do think how warm the ground is and how light it's going to be, I don't expect any of that to accumulate. In terms of precipitation, roughly around a ½ inch through eastern Iowa through Saturday. Could see a little bit more any of those thunderstorms, but again, roughly a ½ inch is expected across eastern Iowa. Your city-by-city forecast for Waterloo, Dubuque, Cedar Rapids, and Iowa City. So again, we're warming up. We'll potentially have record high temperatures on Friday with temperatures in the mid to upper 70s. You're noticing the precipitation chance to get a little bit farther east. That's just during the daytime. I expect everywhere to at least see some sort of rain from about 5 p.m. to midnight. Then after that, things quiet down. During the day on Saturday, we'll have temperatures falling throughout the day. So the highs will probably be hit early Saturday morning, if not Saturday or Friday night at midnight. Then that will continue through the day to fall. And then Sunday will be windy but dry. We'll have maybe gusts up to 40 miles per hour. And I should mention, even on Friday, we could see gusts around 45 miles per hour before the storms even arrive. So it'll be windy no matter what, and that could elevate some fire danger as well. Then on Monday for St. Patrick's Day, staying windy but warmer, highs in the 60s, and then a little bit of a system moves in later in the week for the first day of spring. Not expecting as much impact as this one, but could see a rain, maybe a little bit of rain-snow mix on the first day of spring, and then we recover nicely to end the week with highs back into the 50s.